On this final day of March, we've got it all. Basketball, football, soccer, baseball. The Washington Nationals trying to do something they haven't done since the year they won the World Series. We'll take you to Cincinnati. Up in Baltimore, the season just started, but the O's already looking like a bona fide World Series contender. They're trying to break out the brooms this Sunday, and our contributor and friend, Linnell Willingham, is joining us tonight. We'll dive deeper into the debate of Drake May versus Jaden Daniels. All that and more coming up right now on Game Night.
Only 7-day-a-week sports show in the DMV. From DC News Now, this is Game Night.
Debates. Well-stung ball. Saar! Rodman, the all-time leader in Spirit history in assists. Her 12th links up with Saar, and it's a second for the Spirit to go on top 2-0.
So the Spirit looked pretty good on the field today. Trini Rodman putting herself in history again. But Brandy Flores sitting on the couch next to me. I'm Alex Flum here, but Brandy was honored at the Spirit game today in a way, right?
I was, yeah. The Washington Spirit did this great campaign honoring several women from the DMV during Women's History Month. So I was one of them, and it was a great honor to even be selected. And it was super cool to be a fan at a game, and what a game to go to.
We don't get that opportunity too often, but we have a celebrity right here, straight from the Spirit game.
We all know today. Alex is the most famous one on our show. He's our DMV plug.
Wait till the other guy that gets on this couch in a little bit. Wait till he's out here. Well, the Nationals, speaking of some baseball, they have an opportunity Sunday to do something they haven't done since 2019. You remember what happened that year? They won the World Series. They have a chance to open their season with a series win. Let's check out how they did. C.J. Abrams had himself a day Saturday, hoping to keep it up, and in the third inning, he does. Launches this ball to the right. See you later, as Bob Carpenter tells us. First homer of the season for Abrams, puts the Nats up 1-0. We fast forward to the 7th. It's a 3-3 game. Trey Lipscomb, the rookie from Frederick County, Maryland, hits his first major league homer. Just enough juice. What a moment for the former Urbana High School standout with his family looking on. Things were looking good for the Nationals, but we're going to spare you having to watch this. Up 5-3 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. They give up 3 runs, get walked off to lose this one 6-5. Blown save by Kyle Finnegan. But how about Trey Lipscomb? Goes yard for the first time in the majors.
The way he hit it, ball up out over the zone to right center field was awesome. But I watched him all spring do that. 2 strikes, just shorten up his swing and stay on the baseball and try to drive the ball up the middle. He's been good. I mean, the whole his defense, his base running, everything, man. He's been playing well his first 2 games.
All right, meanwhile, in Charm City, the Baltimore Orioles are trying to start their season with a series sweep of the LA Angels. Let's get to these highlights, and usually we see some offense from the O's, but down 4-1 in the third. Take a look at this. A grounder to short, and Gunnar Henderson laying out to grab it, making the throw to first. What a play. He's out of there. And the O's bats did struggle a bit in this one, but Tyler Wells still had some success on the mound, striking out 7 in 6 innings. Striking out Mike Trout, arguably one of the best baseball players of all time, twice. He did give up 3 earned runs on 5 hits, as the O's are going to fall in this one 4-1 for their first loss of the season, but they still pick up the series dub. The Orioles do not break out the brooms, but they come out of this taking 2 of 3, as I just mentioned. Not a bad day for Wells on the mound.
They were aggressive on him early in the game and kind of on time with his fastball. They were aggressive on him early in the count, and then he maybe made some couple adjustments where they started mixing pitches a little bit more, and he's got really good slider and cutter and a changeup, and just a little bit too late. But 6 great innings after the start that he had.
Well, I think we're at the point where fans are waiting for this team's season to end, but the Washington Wizards at home taking on the Miami Heat this evening from Capital One Arena. Let's get to these highlights as Jordan Poole looking to lead the Wizards to a dub tonight. Time winding down in the second quarter. Terry Rozier is going to knock down the tray as Miami went into the break with a 7-point lead. Wizards fighting back in the second half, though. How about Corey Kispert? Maybe a little upset about Gonzaga's loss the other day. Slams this one down with authority. However, the Wiz unable to catch back up in this one. And they can't take the heat. They're going to get out of the kitchen tonight as they fall 119-107 to Miami. Jordan Poole, 22 points, 8 assists. Here's head coach Brian Keefe after the loss.
Our process was good, especially offensively. 27 assists. I thought we were really moving it, and we didn't shoot the three like we usually did. Guys that usually make shots did not. So I thought our ball movement, our pace was great. I thought our defense was, coming and going at times, fouled a little bit too much, but overall I thought our approach was right.
Out to the pitch, the Washington Spirit have split their results to start the season with 1 win, 1 loss in their home opener. And when last week, 2 rookies scored. Spirit trying to stay hot as they're staying at Audi Field. And they're going to get a penalty kick opportunity in the 19th minute, and that will certainly help their chances. Andy Sullivan taking it, and she's going to put this one right past the keeper into the net. Spirit striking first. Later on, 30th minute, Trinity Rodman with a beautiful ball out into the box. Ulay Sar heads it in for the score. Trinity now has the most regular season assists in Spirit's franchise history, as the Spirit winning this one, beating Utah 2-1. Washington has now won 2 of 3 to start the season as Trinity Rodman continues to cement herself into the team's impressive young history.
Every defender, I feel like, expects me to want to go 1v1 and take it down line. And that one, I think I just wanted to be unpredictable. And I saw Ulay floating on the back post. And, I mean, she's good in the air. She's tall and she's explosive. So I just hung it up there for her.
So, Brandy, 3 games into the season, obviously the one loss, they did not have Trinity Rodman in that game. Last game, it was the rookies contributing. Today, some more veterans scores. This team's looking good to start the year.
Absolutely, and this Spirit team is a bit different than what we've seen in past, especially when they started the NWSL draft, getting a lot of those rookies. We see them out in the field, Corey Bethune, Hal Hirschfeld, who did get their first goals as a professional athletes last game. But I think what's most notable is they're kind of trying to build this team around Trinity, giving her more chances to score. But we've seen her as she's climbing up the assist ladder, tacking those on, that she has been such a contributor, not just when she's scoring goals, but creating opportunities for her teammates. And I think that that's a really special part of her game that we're really starting to see now. And especially if we can get this great balance between the young women and then, of course, the veterans, some of them on the U.S. women's national team, this is going to be a pretty hard team to beat.
I would go as far to say, as all the DC teams we have, I think the Spirit are in the best position right now to compete for a championship going forward. I'm going to say watch out for them as we go through the rest of the season. Yeah,
and then when their coach, who's still coaching in Europe right now, once he gets over here, who knows what's going to happen. He's a talented coach, and I believe he'll come in June, so it'll be interesting. Of
course, the rumors of an international player coming in as well. We'll see what happens there. We're going to move on to March Madness now. America's basketball team, the 11th seeded NC State Wolfpack, looking to get past Duke and that guy Jeremy Roach to make it to the Final Four. Of course, on the other side, for NC State, the story has been Casey Morsell, who went to St. John's. Roach going to Paul VI, Morsell going to St. John's, and now the Wolfpack and the Blue Devils meeting again. DJ Burns Jr., how about that guy? Unstoppable this March. And so is Casey Morsell. He grabs the offensive board here, puts it in the hoop, but the Northern Virginia native Jeremy Roach doing what he can for Duke. Coming up here, he's going to drive to the hoop, and he's going to get this layup to fall right here. However, Duke trails the rest of the way, and the Cinderella story goes on somewhere. Jim Valvano's got a big smile on his face up there, and NC State will continue the magic this March Madness as they take down Duke. Final score 76-64. The Wolfpack headed to the Final Four for the first time in 41 years. Casey Morsell and the Wolfpack will be taking on the Purdue Boilermakers in the Final Four. That game taking place Saturday, April 6th. That is definitely one we will be looking forward to. And the second Final Four matchup that Saturday between Alabama and UConn. Roll Tide, Crimson Tide, their first Final Four appearance in program history. And UConn looking to get back to the championship game. And we talked about it before. We had a celebrity joining us on the couch. Here he is, Linnell Willingham. This man is everywhere on the radio and on your TV screen now.
Here we are. Let's do it. Hopefully honestly, I live up to the hype.
Yeah, honestly blessed to be in your presence, but that's enough.
You guys
that's
cut
enough
it out.
For now.
Congratulations, by the way, getting honored earlier.
And I'm chopped liver over here now with what you guys are doing.
It's all about that inner confidence, Alex.
Well, we got that Final Four coming up. I'm pretty excited. I like the matchups that we see. Linnell, what do you think about? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? What are you most excited about for this Final Four coming up?
I'm excited for Nate Oates and what Alabama has done, being able to punch their ticket to the Final Four for the first time in program history. They're a school that's had some up and downs. They graduated 7 of the 10 guys in their rotation from a season ago. So to see them retool, so to speak, and still be so, prominent and dominant during this tournament, it's been impressive to watch. They're shooting the 3-ball really well. I'm excited to see, because if you're going to beat UConn, Alex and Brandy, you got to be able to score the basketball. I think they're both really good at that.
Absolutely. I mean, of course, it's really hard to not root for NC State in this one, especially them starting here in D.C. I feel like we have a bit more of attachment for their success and to succeed. But, I mean, Purdue's going to be really hard to beat. That, growth spurt that Zach Edey has absolutely helped him. Now? Yeah, something like that. Literally doesn't even need a ladder to cut the net there. But no, Purdue looks really strong. I think this is going to be a really competitive Final Four, and I cannot wait for Saturday.
Here's my thing. As we watch Zach Edey tearing down this hoop, just literally like barely lifting his arms, it seems like. It's like me reaching the top shelf in my apartment is the equivalent for Zach Edey reaching this hoop. But I mean, UConn, they look really, really good. But Purdue, I think we're on that collision course. I know the NC State story is really cool. I'm rooting for Bama because I got family ties with that school. But Purdue, UConn, that's what everybody wants to see. That's what I want to see. And I think Purdue's going to knock them off. Not just because I had that in my bracket, but I think it's going to happen.
Crazy thing about all of this, right? Zach Edey's been probably the most dominant player in all of the tournament. But in terms of his NBA prospects, folks not really high on him. I don't know if he's going to be a first-round pick or not. Scouts worried about how he will translate that game over to the next level. We'll see, though.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. But, you mentioned how our brackets are doing. And so I guess we should, now it's depression time, guys. Yes, I'm still in the lead, but I had Tennessee winning the whole thing. So
I told you it was a bad idea when you did it.
You know what? I believed, Alex.
I'm surprised they made it this far.
I bet the people who picked NC State to win the whole thing, people were probably telling them the same thing, too.
Well, that's not going to happen either.
Yeah, I mean, you never
Tiger
know.
has UConn, I have Purdue, so it's...
Look at Tiger.
Yeah.
And I will say, Alex was, really talking smack on Tiger's bracket the most out of everyone.
Well, he had Kansas in the Final Four.
The youngest in charge.
I don't know what, he just has UConn. That's what it is. Look how close. I'm going to pass him when Purdue wins.
All right.
How about the women's standings, though? I like this one a little better. Look at that. That is a runaway. That is a I have like the 22,000th best bracket in the country, like 99.4 percentile. I think it's if Iowa and USC wins, I have a perfect Final Four. Seven of 8 Elite 8. You can just tell I've been covering some Maryland women's basketball, keeping up with what's going on. But Derek in second, Jake and Tiger, and somebody's missing on here.
Well, that's because I'm the only. I wasn't second for a long time, but that's because I actually didn't pick LSU to go to the Final Four, so that's on me, or the Elite 8, actually.
Well, we'll see what happens. Well, coming up on the show, we're going to talk some football. It's been a little too long since we discussed the Commanders here tonight. Jaden Daniels, Drake May, who you're going with? That's coming next. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back into Game Night. We are now going to ask Linnell what he thinks about Jaden Daniels and Drake May. We got a whole list here. Why don't we bring up that list right now? Linnell, Jaden Daniels versus Drake May. We got a whole list here. Arm strength, accuracy, athleticism, intangibles, and then we're going to make one pick. Who's got the better arm strength between these two quarterbacks?
I want to start off by saying this. Whoever the Washington Commanders end up selecting at the quarterback position, we all should be on board for it. But the hot button topic right now is between these two guys. In terms of arm strength, I'm going to go with Drake May. I think that's one of the areas where he has Jaden Daniels edged out. He's led college football the last 2 years in big-time throws. So that arm strength has been on full display out in Chapel Hill.
And then let's talk about accuracy. Obviously extremely important, especially after seeing their pro days. Do you take something from them? But either way, who do you think has the edge when it comes to accuracy?
Accuracy's honestly been the biggest downfall of UNC quarterback Drake May during this pre-draft process. You saw it a year ago, him kind of take a step back in that category. The footwork has really been the main catalyst for why that accuracy's been all over the place. He's been sporadic as a passer. I think Jaden, arguably the best deep ball thrower in all of college football this past season. He made major strides as a thrower, and I think he's got the edge in terms of accuracy.
Check.
All right, so this one might be a little tough based on who can get out there and make some plays with their feet, but athleticism, which one you go with?
I think they're both uber athletic. I think Drake May, the reason why scouts are enamored, 6'4", 220, has that prototypical size for the position, but Jaden Daniels lit the SEC on fire this past year on the ground. The yards per carry was massive. That was really their biggest threat offensively for the Tigers, is Jaden using his legs. And I think next year at the NFL level, he'll be able to hit the ground running faster than all of the other rookies because of that athleticism.
And probably the skills that translate the most, that are the most important when you enter the NFL, the intangibles, Linnell.
Yeah, the intangibles is interesting here because it's hard to really try to measure that without getting good conversation with the scouts and stuff. But I like Jaden Daniels. He's been through a little bit of athletic adversity, having to transfer from Arizona State, and then he lit the world on fire the past 2 years at LSU. No shade toward Drake May. He's got good intangibles as well.
So based on all this, clearly the overall is trending right towards Drake May, right, Linnell?
Not so fast, Alex. I would say this, though. Drake May is a guy who scouts feel like have one of the highest ceilings in this draft. When I look at Jaden Daniels, though, the floor, I think, is the highest as well. Because of the ability for him to use his legs, I think he'll be able to hit the ground running in the National Football League. If he ends up here in Washington, I love his fit in Cliff Kingsbury's offense.
So based on this, you're Adam Peters, Dan Quinn and company. Caleb Williams obviously goes number one. You're sitting there. You're without a doubt, it sounds like, taking Jaden Daniels.
Well, I'm going to see if that phone picks up first. If anybody's calling to try to, gauge some trade interest for trading back. But if Jaden Daniels is on the board after Caleb Williams, I think he's the guy that you got to go with. Drake May, though, is going to be interesting. I expect the team to try and maybe trade up with Washington to secure his services.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rumors for both of these quarterbacks saying that they want to go Drake May, but no, they like Jaden Daniels, so we're going to have to wait until draft day. Yeah. And, some guys who are looking toward maybe getting drafted themselves or playing again in the NFL, the UFL, formerly known as the XFL, but the DC Defenders still in action. Their season kicking off today, and I know there's a big DC Defenders fan base out here. Well, guys, it's opening day. Get excited. They're gonna have to wait a little bit longer, though, for the Beer Snake at Audi home opener next week. But Reggie Barlow and company on the road to start the season, facing San Antonio. We're gonna start with San Antonio. Screen pass with DeMatha grad and former Terp standout Anthony McFarland, and he takes it the distance down the sideline. Defenders down 7-0. But DMV representing early. Defenders always living up to their name on defense. Isaiah Johnson laying out for the big hit. DJ Swearinger scoops it up. Wasn't the best day offensively for DC, though. They can only net 4 field goals. They fall to start the season in San Antonio, 27-12. But fans of Beer Snake back at Audi Field next Sunday for the team's home opener, and I'm all over it.
I know this is our DC Defenders expert over there. So
I'm excited.
What can I say?
We're ready for them to get back to Audi. Well, coming up on the show, though, we are going to talk about some other stadiums in the DMV. The impact of the monumental move to Virginia not happening on the Commanders. We'll show you that next. Well, after all the hoopla, Twitter barbs, and funny memes from Virginia State Senator Louise Lucas, Ted Leonsis, making up with D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, Monumental Sports will be staying in D.C. The monumental dream of a multi-billion-dollar arena in Alexandria is over. They're waking up from it. Leonsis and Bowser held a press conference last week to announce the new $515 million stadium renovation project, and this now could open the door for the potential return of the Commanders to the RFK site, as the battle is likely heating up between D.C., Maryland, and Virginia for who will house a new Commander Stadium. Linnell, will it happen, Commanders to RFK? And do you think it should, and do you want it to happen?
Will it happen? I'll be honest with you guys. It doesn't feel like it's got a ton of momentum. I'm just thinking of it from the lens of what new Commanders owner Josh Harris and company are trying to build. This isn't just a sports stadium. I call it a sports and entertainment Taj Mahal. They want to be able to host WrestleMania, the NCAA Final Four, and big-time events like that. The RFK site, I just don't think has the proper space. Should it happen? I don't think it should happen either. D.C. already committing $515 million over the next 3 years to the Caps and Wizards. Josh Harris and those 21 limited partners, open up your checkbooks. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how I feel about it.
I think it actually will happen, and it would be very smart for them to go to the RFK site, because I'll tell you this. It has happened across the country when there's new stadiums built. They want to build up the economic development around it, and that's why D.C. wants it, of course. If you look at the RFK site right now, not a whole lot going on. But if you see what they're doing right now in Los Angeles, in Inglewood, California, with the Intuit Dome, which is the future home of the Clippers, they have built up everywhere around it, built up the restaurants, living areas, and that is what they could do at RFK Stadium. Josh Harris wants to create something amazing, and he grew up going to RFK Stadium, so in his mind, it's his ultimate goal, if I'm him, to build up that area, make it something new. That way it's kind of like a full circle moment, and I think it would be very smart. And the metro's right over there. So a lot of access over there. Parking would be great. I think that would be the smartest decision, but it would be a long time, obviously, before any of that gets built up.
Listen, I don't care where it is, D.C., Maryland, Virginia. All I want to hear that stadium shaking. Yes. I want to hear, we want Dallas. You know what I'm talking about? We want Dallas. You know, I brought it up before. I remember when the Caps won, how crazy it was in D.C., and I think that would be cool if it was the RFK site. Yes. You just imagine the Commanders, maybe they win an NFC championship there, and everybody's celebrating in the streets of D.C. That's what the city needs. That's what we want. We want it, me and Linnell. Brandy would enjoy it, too, if it does happen.
Oh, yeah. I only root for the Commanders' success here.
So we're going to pull for it, and we'll see what happens. But coming up on the show, before all the craziness with the stadium, we're going to quiz these two on the highest paid athletes in the world.
Ooh.
Show me the money,
coming
baby.
Up right after this. All right, Brandy versus Linnell. Highest paid sports athletes. First up, a soccer player that plays in Saudi Arabia. Highest paid athlete in the world. Brandy.
Mbappe.
No.
Oh, Cristiano Ronaldo.
All right, we'll give it.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
I said it.
We're gonna call it. We're gonna give that to Brandy. Next up, a golfer, a Spanish golfer.
John Rahm.
Correct. That's another Brandy. An MLS player. Linnell.
Lionel Messi.
Correct.
There we go.
Good.
A player in the NBA in the Western Conference. Linnell.
Western Conference, big contract that have just been given out.
5 seconds. You got 2 seconds.
I'm blanking.
It is LeBron James, and Brandy wins. Congratulations, Brandy. Linnell Willingham, Brandy Flores, our crew behind the scenes. I'm Alex Flum. We'll see you tomorrow.